happened.
Mm.
And I just remember sitting there thinking, hey, this man, he escaped justice in South Africa and he ran back to his home country. And I remember how the Malawian, not all of them, but the ones on the internet who are saying he is a legend, he is all of these things, and they were praising this man for having fled South Africa by I don't know what the word or the terminology is for someone who flees South Africa in the manner that he did, which was illegal. Now we're talking about someone who ran away illegally in South Africa. This person was acclaimed a hero in his home city, and some articles even wrote that tourism in his home city is up to 10,000 South African people that go there that are recorded. 10,000 South Africans that visit his home city, as well as other people from other parts of the world because of this man. And it's interesting to know that this man did something illegal in South Africa. The economic freedom fighters in his country applauded him and they said, well done. I don't know if they have any affiliation with EFF. I'm not sure. I'm not going to tie the knots with that.
Mm.
But the article said those people applauded him and therefore the government should not let him go. Or the government should let him go and he did nothing wrong in their eyes. The the state, on the other hand, has a lecturer in on that part of the world who said our country is missing the point by allowing a small fish in this giant ocean to close the door on opportunities for Malawans. And this is a lecturer who said that because he understood the benefit of a whole nation that will be able to benefit with trade with one country, then this
Mm.
one person who has been deemed a criminal for fleeing the way he did in our country, uh, 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 who has reached the African dream, if I was to call it that. Because Africa is an economic place right now. It is not what it was in the past or whatever it is. Right now, people need to understand capitalism. And I just want to tie the knots as to say another story is, and just bear with me for a moment. The former president of Botswana, I just found out today that he fled to South Africa,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
the current president in that country accuses him for whatever illegal reasons. Now, this is being fought out in court. Now, I love the justice system in South Africa because I believe it's very fair. And should that man be found illegal or whatever he did in his country, he must be extradited because clearly South Africa, we are held to a higher level or higher standard of moral responsibility than other nations, right? So I say, okay, if our court systems or our justice systems find that he is guilty, he should be sent back to his nation so that they can deal with him accordingly to their laws in Botswana. Not a problem. Another thing that I want to tie in to these two things. Here we have a small fish. On the other hand, we have a big fish. He's a former president. This guy has been accused of money laundering by his nation and all of these things. And in his rebuttal back to in the media, you can go look this up on the news. When I was watching this, and I was so intrigued because I know everything is about money when these big guys are talking. And
Mm.
his response was to the current president of Botswana. He says the current president of Botswana is accusing the banking system of South Africa of money laundering. Now, that is a gigantic accusation. That is gigantic. This guy just shifted the the cornerstones of the world as we know it in the finance industry, right? If you remember in the past, South Africa was reduced to junk status. This is big boy stuff. And I just want to tie into to understand how these small things literally impact big things and vice versa. Now I'm saying this. The banking industry of South Africa and a lot of young people need to understand that your bank is there to help you. Go to your banks. They want to give you money. They've got money. They don't get paid if they don't release the money. People don't understand that. Go to the banks, ask them how can you get the money, and don't ask them the common questions that, or don't accept the common answers that they give, that you have to have bank statement and all of those other things. There are other ways for you to get money out of the banks. Now, I just want to say the important thing to note is which side of this argument is going to be won. And I need us all to pay attention to this, because what the man who fled to South Africa did, what this former president did, he just put a bigger argument at the table to as to say who is going to be more protected, me or you, in the nation where you are. South Africa is the safest place in Africa for anyone to be. And all these other people know it, big and small. And people need to understand that all we are asking for is for them to come and respect our laws. That is it. Furthermore, just one more point.
Yeah, you can
What
make it quick
happened
so
with-
that I add other people and then we round up.
Wonderful. What happened with Danel? If you don't know what Danel is the military. They manufacture weapons for South Africa, and they sell weapons to nations and other places all around the world where these things need to be distributed. Someone in that organization sold the intelligence of our country to the Saudi government. We're talking about intellectual property, and this was stolen from Danel. Danel has been in the media some time last year. Not a lot of us ordinary people pay attention to this because we don't understand this type of conversations, and we don't understand how much money is involved in military contact. That is the big story. The small story is the South Africans that go to Australia. Now, not all of them. It's one particular white South African, right? My point is this. I love my country. I love South Africa. I love our people, and I respect our laws very much. What I'm saying is, as a black South African, I know wherever I go in this world, I have to come home, because not only home is where the heart is. I know that I'm not 100% in these other places. White people, they are camouflage. They can blend in wherever they go. We don't share the same privileges. That's why when white people leave South Africa, they can talk badly about our nation. And not all white people do this. But pay attention to the ones that do on YouTube. They can speak so badly about our place. And you'll find that you are so nosy. It's so nauseous, like your stomach turns the way these people can talk about our nation. Because they can go and live wherever they want. And we know that we have to go home at some point in time. Our time in these places are limited. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. There's someone who has been there for a long time. I think it's
it's me. Yes. Just to end my contribution, I want to say to Tsepo. I heard Tsepo saying on elections he's gonna vote ANC out. Then there is a challenge in Africa, Tsepo. There is a very big challenge, because as you stand, you can say, I will vote ANC out, but I will show you something. Which other party are you going to put as an alternative? Because maybe the party that was now growing, the EFF that was growing, contesting against ANC, right now there's a little bit division in it, because some people are saying EFF is against it to Tula, so we're going to drop EFF. You see, there's a lot of things going, even on the social media. You understand what I'm saying? So I remember during the local government elections, one guy came on the radio and said, when they were talking, which party are you going to vote for? He said, me, I'm not gonna vote ANC out. They asked him why. He said, my whole family is working for ANC. So if I vote them out, they will not get a salary. So you see that there are lots of factors that will make people, no matter how people are frustrated and tired, they will be divided into different parties, to the extent that at the end, maybe ANC will win with a small majority and overcome all the other parties. So it will continue to stay in power. So if it continues to stay for the next term, right, which means what people are complaining about now, blaming ANC, they'll still complain for the next term. Okay, let me close that chapter. Okay, South Africans, they are graduating on colleges, TVET colleges, universities every year. Matriculants are finishing matric every year. All these people are looking for jobs. The majority of them, especially from matric, the majority are looking for jobs. But we have got people from the universities and colleges looking for jobs. And the unemployment rate is ever escalating, it's not going down. And the problem is, no one is coming up with a solution of producing jobs. The government has said it on the media everywhere. They said, the president said, the government will not be able to produce jobs for the people. He said it live. So now the people are still looking for jobs. And now the private sector, they are breaking the law left, right, and center in terms of hiring labor and stuff like that. You see, what he's talking about, Stepo, is right. I was making some rounds this morning. Many places that I saw, they were guarded by security guards that don't have SIRA. But according to law, security guards must have SIRA. So you understand that there are a lot of factors that are contributing to the collapse of the country, but no one is addressing the solution, to bring the solution on the table. But here is the solution according to my thinking, because Mr. Lloyd said, if you go to the bank wants to give people money. That's what they say. But if you go to the bank, to the counter there, you tell them, we are a company, an entrepreneur company, we are startup companies, we need some funding. We have got a brilliant idea, ABC. How much do you need? 100,000. We need to see a bank statement with a turnover of 35,000 for the past 3 months. Each month, 35,000. Then we can give you that 100,000. Where will you get that turnover for the past 3 months? So even if you apply with, there are too many fundings, or you apply online in South Africa, but people are not getting that money. And these people that are open, like the Pakistanis and the Bangladesh, those people, they are running spaza shops and businesses, they're selling everything. These general dealer shops, they are all over. You want a Prima stove, you find it. You want this, you find it. You want a Kingly, you find it. You find everything in their shops. Ask yourself, how are those shops managing to run and survive for such long, even though when the economy is unstable? Because those people, they came together and they put funds. Even when they are going to buy those stocks, they stock in bulk, then they distribute among themselves. So how are South Africans going to address the issue of unemployment? That's why when I say Africa unite, most people, they don't understand me. I'm trying to use wisdom. I'm trying to use a clever way of trying to show South Africans. Now we will say South Africans, now we'll say this. At the end of the day, it doesn't serve the purpose that I wanted it to serve. Okay, I want Africans to unite. When I say Africans, I'm also talking about South Africans. South Africans are suffering in South Africa. That's the truth. They are suffering. There is no employment. People are suffering. But how are they going to solve that? The government said they are waiting for investors from overseas to come and invest. They can't come and invest. There is too much instability, crime, and all these things happening. Actually, Massmart was threatening to retrench people to go and march in Sandton because a privately owned company wanted to retrench. Right. Imagine, people are protesting to say, you are a private company, you must not retrench, you must keep us in the job. But they don't have a brain of saying, okay, let's join hands and start our own. You see? So what I'm trying to put in the minds of my fellow brothers of South Africa, I'm saying, unite. Not only to unite to march, but unite, put your funds together, start businesses together, grow. And then you will see in a short while the issue of unemployment and all those things. But at the same time, you will be holding the government accountable here and there. all the regulatory boards, if they are not keeping to their regulations and their inspectorate procedures, then you can hold them accountable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So, guys, people who are in the stream now, we're going to be closing up. So, just to make your contribution a
Hello,
little bit,
hi.
wait, Flo, let me just highlight something. Now that we are closing, just make it short, and also let's look mainly at the solutions, because I think we have had all the problems that are there. Okay, so I'm going to open for you right now.
Thank you.
Sorry, can I finish? Something came to my mind. Sorry, 1 minute. Sorry, can I just say this? I wanted to show you this simple thing. There are 60 million estimated South Africans in South Africa. If all those people outside politics, outside religion can come together, put 100 rand on the table, 6 billion will be raised specifically to start businesses. If they do that every month, I'm telling you, as shareholders of those businesses, they'll establish massive businesses, and then they will make things to work. Employment will be created. You know, I was so hurt when I saw one lady on the social media. She's from KZN. She's a holder of a degree, university degree. She's proudly on OnlyFans. They're saying, I'm almost on $80,000. I'm making a lot of money through my OnlyFans. How can you be so proud you are a degree holder? Because there is no employment. But what are we teaching the young kids that are at school? Must they now put their focus also on that because it has got more money than the degree that they are trying to pursue? I think I'll close there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ziggy. I just need to mention something, right, which I found a little bit funnier, but very sad at the very same time. I think everyone knows that at the current moment in South Africa, everyone is going through the census, population count, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So I had a lady, one of those employees from Statistics SA, come over. And in the midst of our interview, I asked her, how are they coping in as far as certain areas where I know they're predominantly foreigners?
Yes.
And she mentioned something. She said, you know what? Specifically Sunnyside in Pretoria, they are unable to count.
Wow.
Because foreigners there are not willing to even open doors for them, just because I think there is also a fear of, I don't have the documentation. What if the interview goes that side where I'm being questioned about the legality and things like that? But anyway, just wanted to mention that. But solution. This is what I remember a few years ago. There is a way of actually limiting movement in the country without really doing much. If the South African government was to enforce certain laws, as far as I understand, there was a law that says that when a foreigner is receiving services in a public institution, for an example, health services, where after a certain service has been rendered, a copy of an invoice will be sent to the embassy for the embassy to pay. I know, as a matter of fact, politicians are sitting on this. I have heard about it within the legal fraternity a few years ago. The other aspect is this. I've always wondered, why is it that when one enters this country, there is nothing similar to what I know when one goes outside of the country? One will be asked for medical, scheme details, things like that. The other country will never actually cater for your services. The other aspect is this. Movement tax. Why are we not thinking about movement tax? People working in should be allowed, but with limitation. This will actually, you will not even be enforcing it. The Zimbabwean government will be calling their people to say, guys, we are paying for you. What are you doing in South Africa? But however, we have leaders that are unable to implement these things. I know, as a matter of fact, about this particular one where even the former Minister of Health of recent weeks was mentioning it, but however the media went and said it's xenophobia. No, it is not xenophobia for a foreigner to pay for a bed that they have used in a public hospital. It is sent to the embassy, and the embassy pays. The problem is this, guys, where we have an increase in population, but this is not comparable with the increase in taxes. Forget about the corruption and politicians and, no. The fact of the matter is this: there is no way we can accept an increase in population where revenue is not increasing. So they should actually, politics, yes, you can vote the ANC out. I'm a believer that there should never be a political party that has majority. I'm just a believer in that. So I've never really been one to be happy with ANC getting 60%. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm closing for Bullet. Okay, Bullet has been holding on for a long time.
You can take me out. It's okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm going to ask who else has been there for the talking suffer. Please give us your closing remarks.
Thank you so much. In closing, I was going to say there should be proper track and trace systems, that is for both governments, for the host government and the country or the native country. So they should be able to say, oh, so and so many people of our people are coming into your country. These are their documentation, and their embassies need to be responsible for a census of their citizens in the host country. And therefore there should be also immigration reporting, so multiple immigration reporting, so that you can be able to know in what region are your people at, and also if there are any movements in between the provinces. The provinces will have systems that link these the foreigners to with themselves. So each and every province that they move, then they are able to report to an immigration service that is in that vicinity, so that they can be notified that they are currently residing there, and also what are they doing, how long they will be staying, and so on. And also I agree with Chloe's sentiments about foreigners paying for services. So for example, it doesn't have to be exuberant amounts, because we know that we are not rich. we come from very, very poor backgrounds. So I don't think that it is in agreement with her. I don't think that it is xenophobic for a foreigner to pay to, or the embassy rather, to pay for the public services that they use, right? And also go back and let's look at our governments, let's look at our systems, let's look at our policies and see how they can benefit their citizens first. I don't see a problem with the sentiment of putting South Africans first, especially in South Africa, because I will agree 100% with Zimbabweans that express the same sentiment in their country, and so on and so forth. So I don't think that is a wrong statement, or that is a xenophobic statement. And let's try and respect the laws of the host countries, because they are sovereign states. They have their laws, they have their way of doing things. And if you are going to go and stay in your in the host country, respect their laws and have a positive contribution to the host country, so that you give your country a good name. So it also speaks to the moral aspect of this whole entire conversation, because if you are able to come into a host country and disrespect the laws, it speaks a lot about the moral compass. And that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. But before we go anyway, I wanted to ask you, like, what weight do you have to Zimbabweans who are listening right now, documented, undocumented?
I would say that understand, we empathize, we know the struggles that you are facing, we know what is going on. However, also understand the grievances that are coming from the people of South Africa. And we love you, and we want to be, we love you, and we are a part of you, just like you are a part of us. But do understand that it cannot be on our backs that all of Africa's problems are sorted, because it is a burden. It's like that one child, that firstborn child, that has to carry the whole family, and they don't get to see their own success because they are drowned in taking care of the rest of the family. It's not fair on you. It's not fair on us.
Okay, thank you so much, the talking.